Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I made a video because I was just so busy, but this piece of news is extremely delicious. And the fact that Polygon has now been sold off to a company and they have suffered an excruciating amount of layoffs, mass layoffs on the activists, the Journos, as they would call themselves, and the gamers are basically celebrating this in a very crazy way. I mean, Asmongold's reaction is just says everything. Welcome home. That's right. Go back to McDonald's. And this is because for years, like for almost like a decade, these gaming websites, quote unquote, gaming journalists, were not actually gaming journalists. I mean, they were companies, they were websites which were promoting a specific agenda. Let's just see just one example out of many examples. This is in 2023. Look at this one. I can't say I'm sorry to see Polygon being sold. They weren't a video game journalist, they were activists. Nothing demonstrated this more than their Howard's Legacy review. This is what they said in their review. Check this out, guys. This is from their own words. Look at this. Howard's Legacy wants to make everyone happy, but Harry Potter gets in the way. Rowling's a specter looms above a vapid open world. So, of course, as you guys know, Polygon disagreed with the J.K. Rowling's view that, of trans people. And because they disagreed, of course, they had to effectively talk about her views and slander her effectively in the review. And I was like, wait a second, so what is the problem here? So look at this one. Like many trans-exclusionary feminists, Rowling positions her viewpoints as one that protects women from predatory men. But it's a line of thinking that puts her more in league with the right-wing agitators than other feminists. Some of the anti-trans activists that Rowling has shown support to online hold other deeply regressive views, like Caroline Farrow, who is also anti-abortion and anti-gay rights. In fact, while Rowling was trying to fundraise for victims of war in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin cited her as a victim of cancel culture. So why are you putting this trash into a game review? This is the big problem. This is why many people are literally celebrating that Polygon is now dead, that Polygon is absolutely, completely gone. Because they don't like, right? They literally don't like the fact that, you have these people who are hired to give you gaming news and information, and they're using this gaming platform not to push gaming and talk about games and talk about how awesome the gaming culture is, but they're using it to attack you as a gamer. And if you disagree with their progressive views, with their woke agendas, with their activist agendas, then you're a bad person, and of course you should be out of gaming. We've seen this before, right? Like, I mean, people are like everywhere, like people are celebrating this like crazy people, right? Because of course, why would you not celebrate? I mean, this company has literally lost its way many years ago. No one affiliated with Polygon deserves a spot anywhere. They drove that site into the ground by being unable to connect with the audience on any actual level. This is from Chris Plante. He, I think, is one of the co-founders of Polygon, and he's basically asking for people to, hire his colleagues and whatever, but it's not gonna happen, right? I mean, come on, let's just be true, guys. Any of you guys who have watched Polygon over the last couple of years believe that this was a genuine gaming website? No, hell no. I mean, yeah, that's not the case, right? Immediately following the sale, most of the staff quickly found themselves Polygon when a wave of layoffs swept through key editor staff, including former editor-in-chief Chris Plante. In a press release, Valnet celebrated the acquisition as perfectly aligned with the gaming portfolio, boasting that Polygon would join the ranks of the outlets like DualShockers, Fextra Live, and OpenCritic. The company described its approach as one of proven operational excellence, but for a long time, Polygon staff, the transition appears to have brought more downsizing than opportunity. We have here people, Nicole Carpenter. I'll say more later, but I no longer have a job. I'm looking for work, as are so many of my amazing colleagues. I have lots of ideas and things I like to write. I'm really in shock. Now, how are you in shock? That's the thing. How the hell are you in shock? Because come on, I mean, if you produce content which is polarizing and you are catering for literally half the country because you show views for the Democrats, like the Republicans not like this stuff on the website, even like Democrats which are a bit more like middle range, right, middle lane, they didn't like it either because they were going towards so many extremes in these websites. And even when would games come out, like do you guys remember what happened with the Dragon Age the Veilguard, which these companies said that this was going to be like the best game of BioWare, like Return to Form. It's an amazing game, it's awesome, it's just the best game made by them ever. And then it turns out the game flopped massively, and now they literally had massive layoffs, and maybe BioWare will never recoup its investment into the game. And they even had expansions, which of course got cancelled because, yeah, there's no point in making expansions for a game that nobody really wants. So this is the problem we have in today's age, guys, and now we're seeing that since 2025, common sense came back to the world. We're seeing that many more people are realizing what's happening. Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know, like, to be honest, guys, it is what it is. I mean, yeah. There we go. End of story. That's it. I mean, yeah. Welcome home. That is literally it, guys. This is the summary of the entire experience. And yeah, let this be a lesson for many other journalist websites over there. If you still want to push an agenda, if you still want to be an activist and not actually give people information about games without having a political bias towards certain agendas, certain politics, all right, then you may succeed. But if you have a bias and you produce content which is effectively clear undermining of the spirit of gaming, because you just want to use the gaming as a platform for your activist agenda, which was pretty damn obvious with Polygon, then people will not read your website. People go to gaming websites to read about games and not read about, you know, propaganda or like political indoctrination. That's the problem, right? And these companies just don't want to understand that. But there we go. Here's what happened. And the gamers, the true gamers, not the modern audience, which does not exist. The true gamers have won once more. And this, guys, is just absolutely freaking delicious. As always, guys, as always, see you later in the next videos. And just a reminder to these corporations and the gaming companies, very important. We as the gamers, we decide if you survive or not, because if you don't go to the website and we don't click on your ads, guess what's gonna happen? No revenue is gonna come to your website. So yeah, continue posting activist agenda, political stuff on your websites, and of course, you know, you will literally go extinct. And maybe in a couple of years, only like independent YouTubers and independent journalists will still be alive, because these people usually provide you information without being biased and as raw as possible, which is why many people are flocking to independent YouTubers and independent podcasts for people who actually give them information and not trying to convince them of a certain political allegiance or not. Guys, that's it for today's video. I shall see you later in the next one.